Soul, which is the book that Christine was referencing, was published 13 years ago, so it's a long time ago. But I will read a couple of things from there, and then some things that are unpublished, and maybe the haiku, but maybe not. All right. So here's a poem that is about 20 years old and still unfinished. I started it at Bard College when I was a grad student there, and it was the first summer I was there. I was living in Barrytown, and I was listening a good deal to the Goldberg Variations, and I was listening to Benjamin Britten's cello suites as well, and among a range of other things, reading and listening to things and being in that really beautiful part of the world. And so the poem is a bit interior and referential to that time and to music and to, at that time I was a father of 2, now I'm a father of 4. So here we go. It's called Centripetal Foam. Clash and sequence everything louder than everything else, important and hurting, keeping recordable the life of a building, a sprinkler on a patch of grass, modal survival, you could touch it. Fungal, diligent, looped, or loosely normative, making room for the oscillational between a jar, mere real things, missing fingers, lost in accident. A field dotted with bees, Muriel nomadic airspeed, for instance, perpetual matriculation and the cleavage bared, a reflection from the coffee cup fleeing the scene. How the superated form is achromatic about the patinated wax, what it does to the silk of the spider, or the little girl's urge to scratch her father's beard, freeing the kinks, laughing at us. But I'm with you, holding a basket full of green apples, imagining what it must be like, too, to drink the centripetal foam, born barreline slips, turning taste for thirst. What falls in the field lays in the field until it doesn't or suddenly bursts. Upon the new face of a stenciled landscape, proliferate in pearl in a holding pattern, sublimating the meme. Wanting to be sucked, critical instead, what you feel and what you say are different, disposed in folly, as if it were wrong to love your own voice, as if love itself were wrong, standing there, ashamed, in a loaded room, the stench of dead animal, its usefulness, a collision in the road. We thought you were Vatic in the constellation, seamless in the fold, but language bothers you, suppose it superfluous as air, breaking up on the other line, the making barely heard through the row, a jetty in the tide, rounding the brain, treading the brake, taking the lead. What if, forgotten like midday decaying in a photograph, meaning remained misplaced beneath system, yielding to manual, drawn into demolition, its distant odor, a dense, stagnant fluorescence of industrial waste-polluted still water, dammed in a canal. That, too, is a verdant, deadly river held in suspense, poisonous silt upon which to float, to toss a stone, to spit, to watch it collect the residual brilliance of sun setting in your glass. Dreaming of the dead end, this vivid imitation circumvents what you know and what you don't know, obsessions otherwise favored. You sift the light pool, its past and present, theme and variation, innocence and demise. Of the infamous, recently dead artist, same is said when a stray bullet enters the soft neck of an anonymous child. You hear of it and barely notice how nervous you are about the fact you have so little time to care. Extinction pending, doubt flares before endorphins, after delirium, appetite and swallowing. A rotting head in your hands, smell its diminished breath, drunk from emptiness white as starfire, its tart juice frothing marinade, pressed by slant of eyes, vision is crushed into vessel made of oblivion, to question, which of us the blur, which of us the contour. Love, intellect, derivations of when we talk, there is gold and copper, an orb of moon, mosquito, or trellis of populations, mapping silent swells, at least watering our confusion, possibility along the walk. What is correctly remembering when the room spills fragile into lining that contains us? Light breaks again upon light. Electricity repetitious, nothing finished, the way forgiveness works. Awkward powers reply to each center of the universe to find expression of variable obstacle purposed in fluid. Should you find yourself caught at vertices of the picturesque to be reflected as static and satisfied by wonder, subject to death, you too spin in transfigured night, vortices of picturesque to become by cloud perfection, sentiment, fruit, accretion of mineral, touched by the drifting inventory of smoke, drenched in mixture, undone by the constant othering that agrees we are the everyday oblique return of originals, shadows captured, attitudes breaking sleep. Only the misdirected eye adduces the conditions of appearance. How flexible the animal subtraction waxing the history of light falls frail in front of it like subservient music beyond excess of style or pure sentence, description, route to floral pattern, what anatomy in prevaricating evening returns by failed word, as we listen to each other cry alone, flesh milking the hump of doubt, tutoring the risk its impression wants, its time before it settles. It's the gateless court where torsi rise and lay, antenna or myth for temperament or reason. And then a switch to a shorter poem. I'm really interested, have been consistently interested for years, decades now, in octets, so I have a bunch of them. In fact, those were essentially 8 octets. 8 octets, 8 square. So I'll read 2 short ones that I wrote, 2 8-line poems I wrote in Berlin some time ago. Let's see. Company. This is spare, this is abstract, this is a block of text before it can become a block of text. It is predisposed to being read. It is given to content, the balance bestowed upon an even number of lines. This is formation and belief. This proves the generative quality of death. It is autumnal. This is arrival and departure. This is terse lateral style. This plastic toy perspires. It is drawn. It breathes into a person. It takes the air and gives it back untouched. This is a poem from Plural that I wrote at Bard during one of our critique sessions, and it was me quietly critiquing the room. And it's called The Artists They Want to Sit in a Room Together. The artists want to sit in a room together, talk and not talk about the wars around them. In the fashion of artists, they sip, nibble, pine for argument's sake the variations of yellow. Today, a bourgeois moment, each protean connoisseur howls a coloratura, promising not to forget photos of the amputee, an erotic thong. Their bricolage forged, available in unlimited editions. And then here's a poem I wrote on a walk with a painter from the Hudson Valley named Peter Atchison, And we were just on a walk on his property, and we saw a bunch of little animals run by, and I just wrote a poem about that. Soft as a melting crayon. Soft as a melting crayon, describe the color if you can. Two small foxes congress in perfunctory joy. At this hour in the white sky, a raptor floating in concentric circles quiets the air. Everything is by itself, yet dendriform. Imagination in her plastic hour finishes us stereotypically. Absorption in relief suffocates, enlivens, destroys, and frees things. Pick any music you wish to set your mouth ablaze. There is likeness converse to actual pain, all animals of earth mouthing it simultaneously. Ocean, forest, desert plains, foothills of a once unnamed place contain connecting points destined to splatter into lyric and food. All of you here, but who exactly, to what devoted, march forward. And then I'll read just three more, actually two more. Yeah, really, two are really short and one is not so short, but not too long. This is just for fun because I haven't read it in a long time, and it's an octet, and it is pure appropriation from John Cage, and it was another poem. You know, John Cage figures highly in the Hudson Valley and certainly at Bard, and this was in response to some conversations around John Cage, but it was actually taken these are all his words with attribution to him. Untitled for John Cage. Chance operations, John Caged, based on the question, John Cage, coming from the nature of John Cage, because it gives me a certain kind of confidence, because they're not a normal kind of brush, John Cage. I enjoy seeing a mark that hasn't been fiddled with, John Cage. It's from when there's a video of him painting around rocks. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. It's kind of a cool video.